Welcome to Religiously Incorrect Podcast. I am your host, Pastor Todd, and I don't have my co-host with me today, Pastor Jeff. In the words of a Negro funeral, he's in a far better place than I could ever hope to be in. My man, Pastor Jeff, is enjoying his family and celebrating his 50th birthday on a cruise in the Caribbean. So all our religiously correct friends and family, give it up for Pastor Jeff, turning 50 years old. He is officially over the hill. We're applying for a Buckeye card. We're going to get him a cane, a bottle of Bengay. We got that ARP. You know what I'm saying? AARP. We're going to get him a service dog. A comfort pet. We do all that. I'm going to get him a membership to Scope and the Senior Center. I got him ready to go. Trust me, I'll walk in one of them walk-in tubs that you ain't got to climb in.
Life supply.
I'm going to have a bar installed in his bathroom next to the toilet. Get one of them super tall toilets that you got. Listen, my man, I love you. I know you're enjoying the sunny weather in Florida, you and Lady Tiffany and Christian and Grayson. And so I wish you happy birthday. I appreciate the free meal the other night. I wasn't coming no other way to your birthday dinner. Just want to let you know. Wasn't coming no other way. But I'm glad I got to celebrate with you. But I am not alone. I have friends in the house. So I want you to like, share, tag somebody. Tell your friends and family that Religiously Incorrect is back on the air. Sunday night service is on and popping. And I want you to welcome right now, we might as well get it in right now, my good buddy, my little brother, C.J. Harrison, and my man from way back, brother from another mother.
That's right.
Big L, Larry Johnson. Let's give it up for them and show them some Religiously Incorrect love. How y'all doing, fellas?
We good, man.
We good. Hey, y'all, we just threw Larry into this. Like 90 seconds ago.
Normally I'm behind the scenes.
Brother.
Doing the graphics.
We did this Kojic style. If you walk into church, you on the program.
Big facts, big facts, big facts.
Go read the
That's
rest
true.
of A selection. I see Brother Larry has walked in today.
The best of you. They ain't even made it in yet.
They can see you through the window. You know you got a song on your heart. Mother want to hear I Won't Complain.
You already got a request in.
You already got a request. After the sermon. After the prayer service.
Agreed.
They just call you in. Brothers, I appreciate you chopping it up, being in town. We won't embarrass you too bad. Y'all be able to go home to your families. It'll be cool. But you know what? It's heavy to talk about. We'll try not to make it too heavy, but I want to kick it off because there's been like a rash of shootings. Tragic shootings. Some have been fatal. Some have just been injurious, which is a word I learned in seminary school. Injurious. Just mean you got injured. That's all. Okay. But it sounds so good, don't it?
Yeah.
Injurious. But anyway, we're talking about a young man that knocked on the wrong door, picking up his siblings, shot by an older gentleman in the face, and then shot again. The gentleman came out and shot him again when he was on the ground. And luckily, the young man survived.
Dude got released
Right after he got arrested too,
Yes.
which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is crazy how that happens. Like, you can just shoot somebody, you can tell them a story either at the scene or at the jail, and they're like, well, we're not sure if we have enough to charge you yet. And I'm like, for real? For really? Then you got a young lady, she was like 21 years old or something like that, who got into the wrong car or was just trying to pull on the wrong car door, looked like her own, which I just did a couple weeks ago. But he shot her and killed her. Then we got a ball rolled into somebody's yard.
That's different.
Yeah.
God knows my kids.
I didn't even know about that one.
6-year-old girl got shot and her father.
Can't play outside.
Can't play outside.
Yeah.
So this isn't about our normal thing. We just want to take the first 5-8 minutes. It's not the police shooting things, which we're always, worried about how that happens, the shootings of black men disproportionate and all that kind of stuff. This is just guns in people's hands
I'm crazy.
that don't need to have them. But here's the crazy thing. You don't know who doesn't need to have them until
Agreed.
something pop off.
Agreed.
So, like, what is your take on the idea that we need these things to protect ourselves? Obviously, we live in a rough world versus what we're seeing people, do with these things. I mean, are we just too angry of a country? We're angry people.
We are very.
So to have, I read an article literally just today. And it said everybody around the world has the same disputes, aggression, mental illnesses, and everything else, whatever it is you want to blame it on. But they don't have the tools in their hands to destroy other people's lives to the degree that we do. So, I mean, where do you sit on this, fellas? I mean, with the gun culture, if we want to call it.
You want to go?
Go ahead. You got it.
For me, I understand the purpose of having guns and owning them to protect yourself, protect your family. I completely understand that. The senselessness of it, definitely. For me, if I was a politician, the senselessness would cause me to have to question what I just put into place.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, we changed the law. People have guns now. We know that. But now you have however many people getting shot on accidental situations. A ball rolls into a yard, going to the wrong door, and you get shot. Trying to open the door, you get shot. You know what I'm saying? So it causes you to go, these people have guns, but now they're just using excuse. I don't want to say it's an excuse, but using excuses to shoot people.
And the people might not say it outright.
100%.
But once you see around the country with whatever you call the stand your ground laws or the self-defense laws, sooner or later in your psyche, something's going to kind of loosen up where we had this mentality that I have it, but I would only use it in the most extreme circumstances. And the definition of extreme circumstances...
Hey, and I'll comment on that. Extreme for different people has a different meaning.
Right.
And see, I'll take it from a parent standpoint because I have children.
Right.
So there's a learning. You have to inform your, you know how we say it. Times have changed.
Correct.
From how when we grew up. I mean, we could actually go outside, go down to the neighbor's house, leave your door open, walk through. But now, I mean, we're talking about a ball in the street.
Yeah.
We're talking about,
we ran through people's yards,
man. You jumping fences. Yeah, you can't do that now.
I'm not
we're talking
inward knocking.
You can't do that now.
Remember that? Knocking on doors and doing stuff, TP in people's houses.
It's a different world.
And you're right. And like you said, what is extreme to somebody? And I get when you're, and maybe the media and the things we consume have something to do with this because it does push a fear narrative that somebody is always out to harm you. The next knock on the door, the next rustle outside your bushes might be that intruder that they read about or saw on the news somewhere else. So instead of getting got, I'm gonna get them first.
Exactly.
But now you're not even looking at the context, and there's almost like no room for innocence. Like there are times, like even me and my wife, there are times when like we hear a bump, and she's like, "What was it?" And I'm like, probably just like I still had that mentality that stuff can just be stuff. Don't have to mean nothing. Somebody probably pulled the driveway and pulled out. Ain't got to be nothing. But so many people are so on edge all the time.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
When it comes to the kid who got shot at the house.
Right. Picking up someone.
You have do you not have cameras? 9 times out of 10, a lot of houses nowadays have
do.
These cameras. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, did the house have cameras?
I don't know the answer to that.
Did he have a peephole? You know what I'm saying? Or a latch where you can...
And see, I don't know. And see,
Yeah.
then you know, it was a very old white Caucasian man. Hey, Elder Carter. And apparently even like his son or grandson or somebody spoke out and was like he's very disappointed in the type of man he'd become, because apparently he had become one of those more extreme people consuming the Fox News or whatever. It might not be that, it might be something else. But again, what does he see even if he looks to the camera? It's a black body, you know, at night. And I said this years ago when my boy wasn't nearly as tall as he is now. I said, I fear for my boy, because black bodies are often seen as bigger, stronger, and more imposing.
Sometimes a threat.
As a threat. And it could be a 13-year-old boy who just got a little height on him, or doesn't even. They just seem more than they are simply because they are. And so it's like you hope that maybe Ring cameras and stuff like that will bring some clarity, but that didn't change the fact that people are going to pop. I mean, you can get it after the fact, but the fact is over.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I do hope. Apparently, they did go back and arrest the guy on this. Don't know what happened with I think she's like a cheerleader or some, you know, a young lady. She was Caucasian.
I was like, do they consider that a man? You know what I'm saying, like a manslaughter charge, or accident, like?
You know, and the legalese on that might depend by state, you know, and all of that. But this whole idea of feeling threatened started with the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin stuff. It started with that. I felt threatened. Did you know that there is a whole organization that pass out these little cards, and they're by this, like, it's almost like insurance for gun owners.
Really?
Who might use their guns on someone, and it has an 800 number for legal representation and a script of what to say.
Wow.
When the officers show up after you shoot somebody, it literally says, say, I feared for my life. I had to kill him or they would harm me.
That's different.
There's literally like, it's like having a Buckeye card or like having a medical card, and they carry it around like a regular insurance card. And if you say the right quote, it at least buys you time. Because if you say that in many places, that's the end of it. Like the man who went home. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
At least until more evidence comes out.
Exactly.
But a dead person can't testify against you. So it's your word
Against theirs. Yeah.
So in the Trayvon Martin case and some other ones, it was, I thought he had a gun. Then he found out he didn't have a gun. Then the way that case ended up is, well, because we ended up in a physical altercation, he could have severely harmed me. So that justified the use of a gun. Listen, I've heard them say fists are lethal weapons. When the young man in Niles got killed, his car is a lethal weapon. That could be run over. I'm like, didn't nobody tell y'all to stand in front of that car?
Yeah.
Like, y'all saw him driving like 2 miles an hour in the parking lot. Like, you stood in front of him, he kept coming, and you was like, all right.
Anything that they see that as a weapon at that time.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, I am no longer able to really justify, and I know you can't take away, never going to take these people's guns away. Not at this juncture. It'll be a long time, even if you stop manufacturing before you really make a dent. But at the same time, you got to face the facts that on the so-called freest nation in the world, people that, you know, supposedly have the most, I guess, you know, ideas of liberty or whatever. Like I talked about a little bit today, like how far does that go though? Because that idea of freedom is, you know, destroying people's lives. And all it will be is, no matter what, don't take my guns. And some people have literally, said as cruelly as possible, yeah, you know, some people might die, but that's the cost of freedom.
Which is wild.
It's whack. Whack, man. So I never thought I'd be that kind of person, because I'm still considering, you know, getting my CCW and getting a firearm, but I'm obviously not buying an AR-15.
Never.
And I can't imagine.
well, at least not now.
Not now. If they announce that purge, though, you know what I'm saying? Or the signs of the times keep progressing.
Ooh, that siren.
Right. But no, I mean, you know, if you want to add your input to the discussion, those of you that are watching us, you know, we'd appreciate it. You can even leave comments. Mike, you want to add anything to it before we go on? Or you don't want your guns taken either?
Well, my whole thing is, okay, everybody's getting killed on the humbug for stuff that's stupid.
Right.
And instead of the politicians making laws to help, they're actually making it easier to buy guns and to carry guns, which doesn't make any sense at all to me. I mean, I'd rather you not do nothing than make it easier.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm at with it.
I agree, but I feel like you should make it harder, and it's not unreasonable to make a few extra checks, mental health checks, background checks, waiting period or whatever, especially for your more high-powered stuff.
Something.
They're saying that the young lady that killed the children in the Tennessee school, the Christian school, that she broadcast that she was going to do it to certain people, and I don't know if it was this one or another, she literally wanted to prove that you could get a gun with mental illness. Like, they're not going to stop me. They're going to sell it to me. The state I live in is going to sell it to me. It was a really, her mind was already gone, but it was a really sick way of plotting and planning that out to prove a really sadistic point and then follow through with it. It would have been enough to just prove that you could get one. Yeah. But obviously her mind was already to the place of destroying other people's lives and taking her own life. But, I mean, you got to take these tools out of people's hands. And people can say you can kill somebody with a knife, you can kill somebody with a car. But, man, you can't argue with what people are doing with guns.
Agreed.
From the hood to the suburbs to the schools.
It's
everywhere. It's not just a black problem. It's crazy.
But
Youngstown, man, 17-year-old killed a 15-year-old girl at that party. 17-year-old boy got picked up for that.
Was that
the one in Youngstown?
Recent?
Yes, the one last week.
I didn't even know about that.
15-year-old girl got killed at a party. Wow. Rest her soul. She went to Christian, Victory, was it Victory Christian? Valley Christian. Okay. At a party, her and her mother were trying to leave the party because something broke out. 17-year-old dude opened fire. And then this week in Youngstown, they found a 14-year-old in a car asleep with a gun. 14. That's my children's age.
14.
Sleep with a gun, actually on him. So, I mean, got to do better, starting with families, and then policy and all of that. But we want to lighten the mood a little bit. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that good meme of the week.
Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen.
Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Thank you. Send us your memes of the week.
These are all jokes. We are just playing.
All right, y'all. So today's meme of the week is a video meme. And you might have seen this meme. But even if you have, you need to prepare yourself. The fellas are already laughing. And you might even want to cut your volume down just a little bit.
A lot of bit.
Just a lot of bit. If you got headphones on, protect yourself. Let me just do a disclaimer. We are not responsible for any eardrum damage, for any disturbing sounds. But I want you to check out, I guess this is supposed to be praise and worship. Give it to us, Mike.
I'm healed in my mind, yeah. I'm healed in my soul. When I call your name, when I call your name, when I call your name, when I call your name.
Didn't know it until the very end. The song was When I Call Your Name.
Oh.
By Todd Delaney.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, our apologies to Todd Delaney and our condolences because that song is officially murdered now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's buried.
Exactly.
Call Sterling.
Yeah.
Somebody get somebody to sing I Won't Complain because the song is dead now. But can we stop this?
I clearly saw other musicians. So
There were three or four other musicians. There was a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer was going in.
I think I'm blaming the engineer because I think somebody was muted.
Might have been.
All keys, no bass, no electric.
All keys, no bass. Yeah, this was a hit job.
Yeah. This is a
The BGVs were singing, but it was nobody there.
Let's just be clear. We were all kids who played church once on a random piano or organ, and that's exactly what
it sounded like.
That's exactly.
That was it.
Just hit whatever you can. Mark said, I need those chords. Listen, Mark, I just wish they had one of them, one of them overhead cams.
Man,
so you can see.
So you can see him playing.
That's it, dog.
See if there's a tutorial on YouTube.
Why are you using four fingers? I think he had two.
You know what? I would have bet. Maybe he didn't have any fingers. What if he was thumping for the Lord? And we over here picking on this guy. Man. And he was thumping for the Lord, giving him his best praise. A wrist praise.
Enough praise.
Enough praise.
You ain't right.
That's only information. That's the only explanation for this.
hey.
But here's the thing. We've been saying it for a while, and I think everybody should agree by now. The pandemic is over. Everybody doesn't need to be on Facebook or streaming their services. Everybody. Nobody's perfect, and that's actually a beautiful thing to me. You have your very polished services, very well produced. You have more of your homegrown joints of your normal Baptist, Pentecostal, whatever. Then you just have trash.
Yeah. Or at least by now, you should have perfected
Something.
that online viewing. You had a long time to kind of get it together. When the pandemic
We've been
happened.
at this too long.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you
During the
don't have-
pandemic, we allow some things to,
Correct.
happen. But
Right.
now, no, it's not acceptable.
And let's just be honest. Some of us, and I got a good friend, my buddy Pastor Kevin Carson, my cousin, come in on a sermon. If you don't know or you don't even know what might happen during worship,